Mr. President, over the last several weeks, we have worked at record pace here in the Senate on nominations. This has been one of those tasks that happens literally every time that there's a new president that comes in, but the pace that we have moved on nominations has been epic based on the last two terms of different presidents. We have confirmed more people now in the Senate than were confirmed in the first 3 weeks of the Biden administration, in the first 3 weeks of the first Trump administration combined. It's because we've been willing to be able to run the clock and to be able to press this. Now, the nominations process does take a long time. Every single one of the cabinet officials requires 30 hours of debate here in the Senate. Each one of the other individuals requires 2 hours of debate here in the Senate, and we have 1,200 people total that we've got to get through. But at the beginning of this time period, we focus on the cabinet level officials. Moving, for instance, Marco Rubio, the very first day of the president being inaugurated, and we came into this chamber that evening and were able to move Marco Rubio. We started the hearings before the president was even sworn in to be able to make sure that we're ready. And we're literally doing hearings in committees, queuing up the next people, even as we're dealing with the folks that are on the floor, to be able to make sure that we can move as rapidly as possible. This is not just about President Trump. It's about the United States and about us having a good operation for our government. Let me give you, for instance, Mr. President, you know extremely well, because you were part of this group actually, to be able to move him, but Sean Duffy was actually sworn in, his nomination was done, his hearings were done. We confirmed him on the floor of the Senate, and within 24 hours, we've got the worst airline disaster that we've had in 15 years. And that Secretary of Transportation was literally on the front line within 24 hours dealing with a terrible accident. It is important that we have people in these roles. We moved Doug Collins yesterday. Doug Collins, who himself is Air Force Reserve chaplain, a veteran himself, will now be leading VA. And he's able to step into that role today, taking care of all those issues because we were able to get him confirmed. Pam Bondi and all the issues that we need to be able to resolve within justice. She can actually get started on those issues now because she has been confirmed. She is the new Attorney General of the United States. All these different roles as we move through them and through the committees are vital for us to be able to get done. So we are fulfilling the tasks that we need to do, whether that be for Secretary of State and international policy in the chaos that's happening right now in the Middle East, or whether that is Scott Turner and his experience that he's going to bring to dealing with housing and urban development, and with people in poverty in our country that desperately are in need of getting access to housing. We're moving on these folks to make sure that we can actually fulfill the promise that needs to be fulfilled. So, Mr. President, I just want to be able to remind everyone, we have more to go. And we're going to continue to be here this week to be able to finish out Office of Management and Budget and Russ vote in that role, because if we're going to deal with spending and we're going to make the government more efficient, we've got to have leadership at the Office of Management and Budget. So that will be done this week to make sure that we can continue to be able to implement the policies that need to get done to be able to help the nation continue to be able to move forward. With that, I yield the floor.